Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Of course, we're here with another wonderful video. It is time. That's why I look kind of funny because I'm on my other computer that is only available for this kind of socializing. I am not a technical person, so yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet. So tonight's topic is going to be about the Christmas season. Hey y'all, what up? So it's called Single as F, part one. We're going to be discussing some of the reasons why some of us are just going to be for eternally single because of some of the things that we have as our priority. Specifically Black women. Of course, if you're looking at the thumbnail, you already know that this is weird towards this specific group because I am fascinated with what we are going through, y'all. I can't share with you enough how ridiculous some of this stuff sounds and how interesting how interested I am in this conversation. Happening with the work. Now, I came upon this video. Now, first, a little bit of background, right? Before we start, a little bit of background. I don't have TikTok and I don't have Snapchat. I only have Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, YouTube, and that's about it, right? And I have been told, I will admit, I have been told to get on the TikTok bandwagon, but my phone is allergic to TikTok. So until I get a new phone, it's just not going to happen. But I do get a lot of videos from TikTok on my YouTube channel discussing some of the issues that we will be talking about in this video. And I was really shocked that this is an actual thing now. Y'all would tell me if my hair didn't look right, right? The name of this video is, and I'm going to share my screen so we can all learn together because this will be the first time you will be experiencing my genuine reaction. So this video is going to be slightly longer. The first 1.5 minutes or the first 2 minutes I've already checked and I already started laughing my butt off. I was so shocked that this is even a thing. So let's just get into it, shall we?
Theory. On TikTok, there have been various theories floating around in the past few years. Hair theory, for example, was less a concrete hypothesis about what different hairstyles say about a person, and more so a trend in which young women displayed their hair in various styles. That was not a theory, that was a side part, but the internet has this tendency to dramatize language to make things appear more important than they are. So we get these theories that don't really explain anything. I would argue that this is the case for bad wig theory. On TikTok, searching bad wig theory will yield funny results of Black women in stiff Amazon wigs on the hunt for rich white husbands.
So basically, this is what is happening right now, right? Bad wig or hard wig, soft life. How dare you? How dare you? Because and I'm only saying this because when I first saw one of the videos that was in reference to was, I think I'm gonna try to look for it and link it in the description box down below. I myself was guilty of this. That was the first thing I thought about. This woman got all this money. I'm talking bags that cost $10,000, Hermes bags and Chanel bags, and she'd be throwing them bags on the ground like it was garbage. And she couldn't find herself a nice Beyonce wig. I was shocked. I was guilty. I was guilty as F about this thing. But I did not, never in my 40 years of life with what I had thought that this would have become a trend, that people will be talking about these women like this online to such great extent.
There are a few creators who have theorized why rich white men are attracted to Black women with bad wigs, but there isn't concrete evidence to back it. The theories are largely anecdotal, but it doesn't mean they're not significant. I just say that to make clear that bad wig theory is less a proven sociological concept and more a general consensus amongst Black TikTok users that if you got a stiff wig, your husband will provide. And speaking of general consensuses, I have my own. If your underwear drawer is in need of a refresh, you need to head to Parade. Thank you, Parade, for sponsoring this portion of the video. I'm so excited to
Sorry about that,
angle
guys.
bralettes.
I
feel like
I just feel like this is just
Dare I
really
bad is in the positive. The most interesting things about this trend is that it's, dare I say, positive, which feels like a weird way of putting it because bad is in the title, but it's actually not that disparaging towards women with bad wigs because in this context, the price of a bad wig is a wealthy husband. So in a capitalist system, it's worth it. Who cares if your lace is lifting if you don't have to work? You've got the bag, and therefore you're winning. Videos of Black women fastening helmet-like wigs on their heads in the name of a wealthy husband are met with praise, encouragement, and I'm going to Party City as soon as I clock out. To me, this is a welcome respite from the typical policing of Black hair by Black people.
Are you in search of a white man? No. What I'm doing? Ariana, you look a hot mess. A hot mess? I've been trying to find out. I'm serious. That wig looks synthetic. It's ugly. Come on now, take that off. You ain't going nowhere with that wig on. Take that wig off, man.
At the 2012 Olympics, Gabby Douglas's natural hair generated just as much attention as her gravity-defying gymnastics.
So, did you hear about the hair controversy?
Yes, I did.
You did. How were you hearing about it?
Twitter. I was so confused, but I don't want to focus on the negative.
Okay, but I do.
And in 2014, Black Twitter lost any sense of decorum at the sight of 2-year-old Blue Ivy's afro. Speaking of, bad wigs and natural hair seem to relate through the transitive property as they both result in pulling white men.
Let me tell you right now, I can only pull white boys with this hair, but I'm not mad.
So let me just stop this video for a moment right now, or I'm just gonna, I don't know, how can I do this? Can I just pause? Oh, I can, wait, hang on a second. Are you still there, guys? Yeah, I'm gonna pause and let this play. Or I'm gonna, yeah. So I think that a lot of the issue around hair and beauty, especially as it pertains to Black female hair, is very relevant to this conversation because we're expected to always look a certain way, and our look is extremely political, and it always has been, even among ourselves. Like, it is a status symbol, and I think that women in our culture, African American or women of Black African descent, have to recognize how much of a cultural statement it is linked in terms of our status, even within our community, because it is a niche space, and it is even in today's day and age of so much inclusivity, our hair is super niche in terms of what other people know about us. And we have an opportunity for the first time ever to really look at that as an opportunity to help people understand what it is we do with our hair and why and how. But we do not have the dominant say, if you may, on all things kinky curly hair. That is a separate topic for another day, but I just want to interject that piece right there because the young lady was being attacked by her whole family within the car because she had that fake wig on. Lord have mercy. Let's go ahead. Oops. Sorry about that.
Lobster. They both result in pulling white. Very hard wig, soft life, and pasta and lobster are mostly lighthearted inside jokes amongst the Black internet, celebrating Black women for getting their Chad and getting their bag in the process. But I do think this baggage is worth unpacking. Compared to Black men, it's not as common to see Black women, even if in jest, express and act on the desire to date or marry outside of their race. In 2017, the Pew Research Center found that Black men are twice as likely as Black women to intermarry. I think the bad wig serves as a symbol to make sense of an uncommon interracial pairing. And while the bad wig trend is currently positive, I think it still has roots in shaming Black women for dating outside of their race. Before Pasta and Lobster, a Black woman with a bad wig was ridiculed and deemed not Black enough, so of course she's dating a white dude. A 2010 Pew Research Center report found that Black women are the least likely group of women to marry, especially outside of their own race. I think information like this is why we've seen increasing calls for Black women to date outside of their race if they want to get married.
Tennis star Serena Williams, Senator Kamala Harris, and
All right, so I'm gonna stop right here. I don't know if she's gonna say anything else that is gonna add to the weight of this conversation. The way I understand it is that she is right about saying that Black women are the least likely to get married, especially in America. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. And I'm a little bit surprised about this because I thought that she was going to go in a different direction when it comes to about like the whole hair thing, right? My experience has been, and I'm just going to talk about my experience first, and then we're going to get into the political debate of Black female hair or African hair or kinky curly hair. My experience has been one of two things. They like this, how it is, or they like completely Afro natural. I'm talking thirsty hair that just got out of the shower, poofy, frizzy, kinky curly hair. So one of two extremes. You want the exotic Caribbean, Cuban look, you know, not too African, or you want the whole like Foxy Brown situation that's just untamed and uncontrollable. I have found, sadly, not just in my own experience, but the people that I know closely, anecdotally, who have dated European or white men specifically, the men usually prefer women, Black women with their natural hair, as opposed to our own men who are used to, maybe it's just that they're used to it, like the straight silky hair. And I think that that's kind of that's kind of sad to hear and to see, but I don't know exactly what the scientific or the statistical data behind this is, how true it is, how valid these stories are in terms of the bigger picture. But I do know that our hair is a root of a lot of discussion and topics all the time because it is so versatile, so sensitive, and so nuanced. And it goes all the way back to centuries of how we have expressed ourselves as women through our hair. We're not going to get into all of that tonight, but I will say that our natural beauty is something that we really need to start to embrace and leave space or hold space that it becomes acceptable for us to wear our natural hair the way it is supposed to be worn. Now, different strokes for different folks. Some people like their hair laid down. Some people like it weaved up. Some people like it in braids, dreadlocks, whatever the situation is, do you. But I do feel like at this junction in our cultural paradigm shift, if you may, where we have more and more women, and it's not making a significant dent in the whole Afro, I would say Black African dynamic and situation, but it is starting to increase that Black women are starting to date more outside their race, which leaves room for more discussion, acceptance, and understanding about the difference in our hair as it compares to other women. And this difference or cultural acceptance or cultural understanding will create a ripple effect within society across the board about what would be the beauty social norm. Now, I know that there was one time when it was in style to wear an afro and braids were in style, or braids came back around, the 2000s, early 90s, when people like Alicia Keys and Snoop Dogg and all those people were wearing braids all the time. And I think that that is something that is a good thing because it shows level of versatility, and it also shows how urban culture affects the global message and conversation, right? I can say a lot more on this specific hair politics, as it is known, but I do know growing up that it was considered inappropriate or even unhygienic to wear certain hairstyles as a person with kinky curly hair to school. That has changed, but it did not come without a very high price and people's being able to speak out and speak up about what is okay. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about tonight, when it comes to Black women and their dating ability, I'm going to have to talk to y'all. Sorry. Are y'all still there? Okay, so it seems that everything is going to stop. I'm going to have to talk to y'all about a very, very important thing. On this channel, we're going to be discussing it in only five parts. I have another Nehanda in the comment section, especially Christmas edition. We're going to be looking at some of the other comments that have happened over this past couple of months, couple of weeks. But for tonight, we're just going to be discussing 5 reasons why African-American women, not African-American women, sorry, Black women are the least likely to find a relationship. Now, this conversation, of course, is going to rub a lot of people a very, very wrong way. And I hope that you guys will take this information in good stride with, a grain of salt, and just make sure that you have yourself a cup of tea, a stiff drink, or just, approach it in good faith. That what I'm saying is of no way, shape, or form my personal opinion, just the research as I see it and I have reflected on. The first reason is that there are way more women than there are men in the Black African communities. And I think that it's pretty much like that for every race of women. And those things kind of balance themselves out later on in life, whether God forbid somebody dies or, somebody marries outside their race, like we just finished talking about. But for the most part, I think it's something like for every Black woman, for every Black man, there are 7 Black women eligible bachelorettes. 7. So that's the first reason. Demographically wise, the odds are set up against us. If we have 7, let's take 1 or 2 or 1 out. Let's say one of those women are not necessarily pitching for this team, so we're just gonna put her one side. Now we have 6, and out of those 6, all of them are vying for this one guy. Now, this is a serious issue because a lot of women actually don't understand the statistical dynamics of this, and we set ourselves up for complete failure if we tend to look at the demographics in this way, or don't look at the demographics in this way, so that we have a clear understanding and a clear vision as to how much we are up against in competing in the dating market altogether. Now, the second reason why a lot of us are single as F is because we do not know how to be wives. We have actually never seen any healthy, happy coupling relationships. And this is especially a part of the fact that a lot of us come from single parent households where we have a mom who is just in survival mode trying to raise us, and our, or even if we were in a parent house or a two-parent household, that person's dynamic was not necessarily the one that we want to emulate. And so we come into the game with so many issues based on the relationships that we did see around us being non-functional or just plain old non-existent. And then we are supposed to just figure out exactly how we are supposed to present ourselves as wives based on no actual knowledge that we have required that has actually worked. The third reason, and I hope that you guys understand that this is indirect and also extremely direct. It's something that I've talked to my older daughter about, as well as other younger ladies who have come to me for advice, is that we stay in bad relationships too long. We end up in these toxic relationships, and a couple of fights, maybe even a baby or two later, we realize that this person was not the one for us. We don't vet men properly, and we just wait and hope that he's suddenly going to change and become the person that we say we want him to be. Instead of taking our relationship in stride and setting deadlines, hard deadlines, divorcing ourselves from who we think this person is going to be versus who they really are, and making an executive decision soon enough before the shit starts to hit the fan, and getting up out of the said situation long before anything becomes too permanent in our mind, body, soul, that it becomes harder and harder and harder for us to leave. If you are in a relationship with someone and it is not working and you're trying and you don't see that the other person is trying, then you need to leave. If you're applying all of these things that you're learning on the internet and you're going to counseling and you're doing all this stuff and your partner is not doing any of those things, then that person is just not the one for you. Have yourself a good cry as soon as possible and bury that person and the relationship. Make a funeral service if you really need to do so, but get out. Get out before you get pregnant, before you marry this person, before you get into any other kind of committed situation that makes getting out difficult. If he's hit you, he will probably do it again. If he's cheated on you, he'll probably do it again. If you are in any kind of situation where he is verbally, physically abusive, please seek help and get out of this situation as possible. Statistics show that only 30% or less of men who are verbally or even worse, physically abusive to their partners actually don't continue to do so. Once a beater, always a beater. Just as a side, but the third thing, staying in bad relationships way too long. Number 4, and this is a little bit of an interesting one, is our mental health. Mental health, guys, mental health. If you have ever been in a relationship that has been damaging to you, or if you have suffered any trauma, which a lot of us as of Black African descent females have gone through, it is your duty and responsibility to make sure that you do the work and do your due diligence and get psychological, emotional counseling and help. I'm not talking about a good retreat or a good day, Sunday at church. I'm talking about a healthcare professional that can help you handle some of your anxieties, depressions, and nuances. You really need to be able to taking the next step in your life so that you can be able to recognize a good relationship when it comes along versus a toxic one. Because people who don't get mental health checks and healing actually perpetuate a self-sabotaging way of being with everyone that they are. They don't, with everyone that they come in contact with, they're not able to set good boundaries with people, so they let abusive people continue to abuse them. They're not able to recognize a bad behavior when it comes along because they see that kind of behavior as normal. Until you get people in your life who can help you heal from the traumas that you've experienced, and don't run around and stop running around with your traumas like as if there's some kind of badge of honor of how strong you are and how much you've been able to do with how little, the easier your life will become, and the more freedom and happiness and joy you will have in your life. And a gate will be open for a real man to come in to give you the love that you so deserve. Which leads me to my last point, and this is going to sting a little, but I really have to say it like this because I'm one of those people that is going to give you straight, and sometimes when I give it straight, it's going to hurt. And it is some of us, a lot of us are just not deserving of a relationship. If you have not done the things that, or you are guilty of the things that I have just listed before, then you are the sole author and creator of your existing experience. And now you know that if you continue down that light, you are not deserving of a relationship. And why would you? Why would you want to bring a sane, normal, healthy, strong, independent, wonderful human being into your mess, so that you can ruin their lives and let them be all of the things that you were supposed to have done for yourself in order to be able to qualify for a good man? And I'm not talking about the kind of man who is high value and makes a lot of money. I'm talking about a man who can love you through all of the things that life will throw at you. If you have not done the work that you needed to do, which is to get your mental health check and get what time wasting men out of your way in your life so that a real person can start to pursue you. Um, if you have not studied and adopted the mentality of happy, healthy couples and have observed them and applied the ways of being of the wives that you've observed to your own life, then you are not actually deserving or ready even to be in a healthy, happy relationship. And until you can do those things as listed as above, then you will not ever come apply for a relationship, um, qualify for a relationship. Please know that the odds are stacked up against you. And even though a lot of us will be able to date outside our race, we are notorious for not doing the things necessary to be even qualified to be someone's wife. And so it is really my duty and my goal in life to make sure that Black women move up from this awful way of being, undateable, undesirable, and start to become more desirable and more loving. Please stop putting all of that gunk in your head. And you know what? Let me just edit that out because that's going down a tangent. I could talk about that another day when I do my whole 10-point series, which is what I really want to do. But I decided I'm just going to cut it short because we're doing Nehanda in the comment section this week. So if you guys are having a happy Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever you're viewing this video, please make sure to stay safe and stay free. And I will see y'all in the next one. My guest did not show up today. Tonight we were supposed to be talking about something else along these lines, but she did not show up. I don't know what happened. I'll probably find out tomorrow. But of course, when it happens, it happens. And in the meantime, between time, we have lots of things to cover before the Christmas season. So I hope that you guys are having a good one. Of course, again, stay safe and stay free.